Well, there you are, and here I am. I just watched Six sign off over there on his live, and him and Desert Outlaw was on there. I seen Buck Brown. I just got back in from shopping, so we'll see if anybody shows up here till the thing goes dead. Occasionally you see me look that way to see if I still have a signal. I have a mesh as part of my system here, and it has a light on it, and it lets me know when I got a signal. Down here on the toolbar, also I can go over there and activate it and find out if I got a signal. There may not be anybody in here today. This is Friday. Everybody's doing their thing. I don't blame them. Honey, come here, show me what you got. Oh, come right over here so I can see you. Come right over here. There you go. No,
oh, you said
I wanted you to come over here. I can see you, but I can't see you. What you got there? Show me. Oh, we're going to have some cinnamon rolls.
That's why I got the 2-pack.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could make both packs. Then we'd have more without just having whatever amounts is in there.
Yeah. Me and you both could eat a can apiece.
I'm not going to lie. I could.
Yeah. We're good at that.
We're good at eating.
Yeah, there's nobody in here, so
yeah.
I didn't want you to feel uncomfortable about being on the camera because there ain't nobody in here.
Well, everyone's either at work, at home.
And I have maybe already run my course because I whine a lot about not having a signal. So people get sick and tired of hearing about.
Don't be a bellyaching baby.
Yeah, I'll quit trying to be like a bellyaching baby.
Did you cut your beard some more?
Yeah, I trimmed it a little bit. Well, why?
Because I just noticed it.
Well, it was a little rangy looking, and I took the scissors and trimmed it up. Was it that noticeable?
I think so.
Yeah.
But then again, I probably noticed it and I just didn't say anything. But getting really like up close, I noticed it more. It looks more non-wiry.
Don't look so rangy. I don't
look like one of those. You don't look like those crazy people at the stores you see at Walmart. Kind of people.
Wile E. Coyote, right?
No. Who's the one with the weird beard? I don't know. It's not as wiry.
I didn't design it. It's the way.
How about this?
Oh, at least it's permanently attached. It's been attached for a number of years.
I don't know about you, but I could eat this whole thing by myself.
Well, you go. Oh my gosh, my knife! Look at this thing. You know, I use this for opening my dog food.
You need to get you a special spoon just for that.
Somebody popped in there real fast and said, "Oh shit, that's that old Mack guy." Oh damn! I thought it was about Mack trucks or something, and then I got on here accidentally, and it's that old guy that talks a lot, just sits there and talks. He panicked. When he saw old Mack, he thought it was going to be about a single stack Mack with a shack in the back. For you.
And that's all that is.
Huh?
That is. You could talk about Mack trucks because you know a lot about them.
I've driven my share.
That's how you got your middle name.
I've driven my share. I was named after a Mack truck. My gosh.
Later, JM.
Huh?
Later, JM.
All right. Y'all come on back. When you come back, you want to set the table right over here, honey, and so
I'll do that right now.
Yeah, so I can set my pizza on it. We're going to have pizza for lunch,
as is usually a tradition on Fridays.
Yeah, let me move over here just a tad bit here, and that way there you go.
Oh, you had about a half a gallon of tea still.
But good.
You're still good.
Just don't let me run out, honey.
No, we'll probably go back in the next to Piggly Wiggly where I think we got this one because you seem to like that one.
Yeah, the same one, the regular. You
Yeah.
know, don't get the extra,
Oh, no extra sweet, no.
and don't get no lemon for me.
No no shandies.
No, I don't need any of that
Oh,
stuff.
I know that you. Oh, I've tried shandies before either too, and I didn't like them at all. I thought they were too sweet.
That is the dirtiest knife. I need to actually probably get some alcohol and clean it. See, when
You stir it in.
yeah, that soft dog food, it gets on the handle there. Well, I don't ever carry it in my pocket. Well, if you carry it in your pocket, it would stay polished. Had a really good ride yesterday. The sun was great. Uh, the weather was a little bit nippy when you're in the shade, but when you was out in the sunshine, it worked real good. Yeah, this knife needs some serious maintenance. I've had this old case knife for 25 years, 20 something years. Oh yeah, more than 20 years. Well, there's another innocent victim stopped by. Let's see, I'll see if he have anything to say. He went away. He thought he was on the cheeseburger place, McDonald's. He saw the first two letters, M-A-C-K, Mac. He thought that must be misspelling of the Big Mac. That's how I get most of my clients in here. You know, my viewers, they accidentally.
You threaten them with a dog lace.
Yeah, yeah. They
One
come.
way.
They accidentally show up. They go, "Oh my God! Well, since I'm here, I might well say something."
And then they leave. Oh my God! This was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
We can't wait to come back next week.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the year, you'll have a huge following.
I have some fans on here that I really like to talk to. We have things of interest in common, but it is what it is. See, I open cans with my knife, and I shouldn't do that because even though it's a case, it still gets dull really fast. There you go. Put a little bit of edge back on it. When I have pizza for lunch, I'm just killing time waiting for the pizza to get here. This is before anybody else's, so I'm not using anybody else's time up. I'm not stepping on any toes. Just sitting over here minding my own business. Business, man. Well, I made contact with an old friend of mine this morning. I think he was the only visitor I had out of all my friends. I have a lot of people that call me friend, but he came to the hospital to see me. I thought, well, hey, that's pretty nice. In fact, he drove my Mustang home for me. They're sick. I saw when you ended your show over there, sick. So I knew I wouldn't interfere in yours. I waited till you and Desert Outlaw was completed there before I even started up. I seen Buck Brown and a bunch of folks come over there on your page. You had a nice live. We've had one or two people stop by in the last 11 minutes, and they thought they was on the Mack Truck channel. You know, there's an Old Mack Truck channel. We went shopping. We went shopping yesterday, but little stuff, things we needed immediately. But today we had to go get cat food, 50-pound bag of cat food. We had to have more bottled water and just a whole bunch of things that I had to take the pickup truck. I heard Desert Outlaw talking about he was at a drive-in dispensary, and that's kind of like up at the Mustang Ranch in there, and you've been over in Nevada, over at the Mustang Ranch. They got a drive-through window where you can get a hand job, a drive-through hand job, $90. Frogzilla, hello, Mr. Frogzilla. Good seeing you. And Mr. Motorbob, Virginia. I went over on your coffee thing this morning. You guys had a big crew in there. So coffee. You had the New Jersey coffee. It's a beautiful day. I took the dogs with us, and when I was over there, there's a big hillside all grassed over, and I put, oh my gosh, what do we got coming up in here? What do we got all up in here? Whoa, oh man, looks like a pizza. I think that's probably salami or pastrami or whatever that they call that stuff. So, yep. She said she was gonna make us a pizza for lunch, so here we are. The coffee. I used to have a friend that was a pilot. He flew for U.S. Air. Him and I were friends back during the military days. He flew C-141s, and he used to do a lot of operations for us there. We used to drop out these little palm trees over the DMZ, over the Ho Chi Minh Trail back in the days. We had a base of operations out of Thailand called NKP, and they would fly at high altitude and drop these little palm trees out, and when they spiked into the ground, they spread open and they become a listening post. Anyhow, he was a good friend of mine. He was a military pilot for 15 years, captain in the Air Force. And he lived right down the street from me. He owned his own private airplane. And he's a wonderful friend. He's now deceased. He worked till retirement age for U.S. Air. And then when they retired him, he died shortly after. He didn't last a long time. And hey, Robin. Anyhow, him and I, we've done everything in the world together you can imagine. He was a wonderful guy. He was like 6'3", 6'4", big old boy, big old pilot, big guy. See, I used to, I did a military contract on the A-37 Dragonfly. You never even heard of it. A-37 Dragonfly. Look up the A-37 Dragonfly. We had a special contract with the Cessna Corporation out of Wichita, Kansas. And we went over on that project and ended up, my buddy that's now dead, he flew the A-37 Dragonfly. And of course, he flew the T-37, the trainer and stuff like that. But hello, Connie. Yeah, it's really beautiful here too, Connie. It's sunny and shiny and in the 60s. But yeah, he flew the A-37 Dragonfly. Well, then we did, there was another company that we worked, Connie's husband, he worked there too. There in San Antonio, Texas, they did military things for us. And we worked for them to complete some jobs that they had. And they built a 22-passenger airplane for commercial service. It was called the Metroliner, twin turboprop Metroliner. And hello, Ray Gregory. If you got something going on, Ray, I don't have no trouble pulling the plug on this little operation here. I think you're later in the evening, unless you started early today. But just say the word, buddy, if it's interfering with anybody's operation on here. Well, we have no trouble pulling the plug out. But anyhow, back to my friend, the airline pilot. He flew the Metroliner for Southern Air, which ended up being U.S. Air. At Piedmont, he flew for Piedmont, and then he went over to Southern, and then he ended up U.S. Air. And he flew that Metroliner for many years, the one that we had the company that we had a contract with. And so we got acquainted through his aircraft. The C-141, of course, we was at Dobbins Air Force Base. We were down there back in the 60s, and they were building the C-141s, C-130s, and the C-5A Galaxy. I was on the C-5A program. And anyhow, Mike and I, when he retired, we did a lot of stuff. He built his own airplane. He built his own runway. And he just loved aviation. We built a runway here at my place for our RC planes. He was really big into RC. So he brought him and I, we built, I've still got the wing of one of mine left. It's a 48-inch wing. It's not a big one. 48 inches. We built them while he was flying. He sent me all the instructions on how to build this particular plane. So we built a pair of them. He built his over in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I built mine here. I made us a runway in my yard here. And he come over and brought his one, the one he built, was really, really well done. Mine was not as good as his because he was an aeronautical engineer graduate from the University of Alabama. And he was also a pilot for 40 years, military and commercial. And, he came over here. And so all the neighborhood kids, that house across the street, they had a tribe of kids over there. All the children were all married, and most of them moved back home, and they had all their kids over there. And so they wanted us to fly past their yard over there. And so we were flying out of my yard, but trying to be careful not flying over anybody else's yard. And they wanted us to fly by. So I was way over there somewhere, and he was back over here. And so he just turned his craft, and he made a pass across the yard. And oh my God, the kids are applauding. And he did some rolls, to come by. He put on a little show for them because he had now an audience. And so on this one trip, he made a flyby while I was coming in from the north here, to the south, flying across my property. And he saw me, and he winged off to the right, and I was going to barrel in behind him. And when he winged off to the right, he made a really turnabout because he wanted to get on my six. He's an old fighter pilot. He was a trained fighter pilot. He wanted to get on my six to show me how he could take my ass out if he wanted to, but we're RCs. So when he did that really quick rollover, he made one miscalculation. Well, when my beard was way down to here, I've got a lot of shirts. When my beard was black, I used to have a black beard because I was dark-headed. My beard was black and had some gray stripes in it. And that was a long time ago. So as he made the turn to get on my six as I'm coming across the yard, he made a miscalculation. He hit the 14,400 volt lines out there on the county road. Boy, I mean, he hit that. He hit it. He caught it with the tip of his wing, and it spun him like this in the air. He was doing a cartwheel. Woo, 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 and then he augured into the pavement down there. Poof. Poof. It just blowed up. Oh, my God. There was hardly nothing left. He brought a whole bunch of stuff with him. He had several aircraft. This is the ones that we'd built together, ones that had the 4-foot wing on it. And so we went out and went back across the river that way. We have a creek down there called Sullivan Creek. And everybody went and lined up out over there on the bank, 400 feet from here. There's a drop off down into the valley. Everybody lined up, and I was going to make a low flyby approach to everybody lined up out there on the edge of the bluff. I caught an updraft from the wind rising up along the cliff blank here. And when I did a rollover, I once again, just like he did on the power lines, I augured it right straight into the ground at full hilt. So on that day, we blowed up both of our machines. There ain't nothing but money. Hello, Mr. Bailey. We see my sister Connie's in there. Ray Gregory's in here. I saw Sick in there. Frogzilla, Robin. Mm-hmm. I'm eating pizza. I hate to be chewing in your ear, but I'd work myself up an appetite over there. Over in the parking lot I was tending dogs. Angelique went in and did the shopping, and I stayed out and tended the dogs. Well, Connie, tell us how your daughter, how is Pam today? Is she still in the hospital? Might be a long delay in whatever I say. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea how strong the signal is. If the signal looks like it's deteriorating or starting to digitize or break up, let me know. I'll turn this piece of crap off. Hello, Mr. 24. Man, I know your winter's coming yet. I think last time we talked, we had snow and you had grass. But you know how things like that can change up pretty quick. Next week, Tuesday, right here in my little woods here in Alabama, we're going to be down to 14 degrees or maybe lower. There's brown chicken. Let me show brown chicken this. If he can see this, hang on. Let me do that. This is just for brown chicken. I can get the camera turned around. Brown chicken. That rooster right there is for you, buddy. I've been saving this just for that moment when you show up so I can show you my rooster. Ah. Okay, good. If you can see me, well, not that it's important to see me, but I just don't want to put out any crap out there, you know. Like cock in the hen house. I've heard that saying before. So how's everything in brown chicken's world? There's a guy on here on YouTube that has he has a YouTube channel, and it's dedicated to his farm and his chickens. Oh, he got a lot dust in the snow. Well, yeah, maybe you'll have a mild winter and life will be good for you, and you'll be breaking that bike out before we know it. Well, the venture out to Vans, it didn't happen. Um, Here's what happened. And we was going to go to Vans. Now Vans out by the county line. I mean, it's out on County Road 222. And we were going to come back and go out to Vans after we had lunch. Well, we got up there, and Angelique got really cold on the trip, even though it's 50 when we left. It got cold to her, and she was dressed good, but she said she got really cold. Um, well, she wasn't feeling all that well, so we decided not to take the trip out to Vans because when I go out to the gun store, I'm usually out there for quite a while because I like to touch all the guns. They're really good to me. They know I'm an old duffer, so they'll hand me a good one, you know. And because I buy a lot of guns. I mean, it has been rumored that I used to do that kind of stuff. I mean, you know how rumors are. Yeah, winter's just getting started. Now we're at 14 degrees here. It's pretty cold. Um, Here in Cullman County, if you go to the town of Cullman, the place is called Vans, and it's like a supermarket for guns. They got everything you'd ever want out there. And I don't think they're over reasonably priced. They're just like everybody else. You know, they know the money is for the taking. And you can find them cheaper on the internet. But on the internet, you can't go in there and just lay down the money and walk out with your gun. You have to go through the process. You want to make it a point here in America to not buy, do not make more than one purchase a month. And when you make a purchase, buy as many things that you want to buy on that same day, but don't go back on the same month and make another purchase. It's one of those little things that gets you on the watch list. I have your weather on the computer every day. When I turn the computer on, Connie's weather is on there, Joyce's weather is on there, and my weather. So I know what's going on in those portions of the country. Oh God, I don't think there's any food that's more pleasing. It makes you feel so good about yourself than having pizza. Um, we discovered pizza back in the early 1960s. I know they had it around before then, but we didn't discover it until about 1960. And our first pizza place we went to was in Chowchilla, California. The place was named Shakey's Pizza. And when you got through eating your pizza, you could get a gallon of beer to go. They would give you a jug of Bock beer, dark, real dark beer, good stuff. Taurus is a fine gun. Don't let the Kimber owners, put you down because you got a Taurus. Taurus is a good fitting gun. They're reliable. They shoot good. I cannot tell you any negative stuff about a Taurus. Um, Rock Island is another good gun that gets overlooked. That's a gun from the Philippines. I think they're made in Las Vegas now, but uh, Rock Island Arms, give you a little history. That company was commissioned by General MacArthur when he was in the Philippines, when he was the head commissioner over the Philippines during World War II, a little bit before some of you boys was born. But the Rock Island built these 45 caliber guns for the U.S. military, 1911 45s, because they needed so many of them. And so when you see Rock Island, don't go, oh, that's one of them cheap ass Cummie guns or something. You know, don't. They're really a good shooting gun. I've got a lot of videos of me shooting Rock Island guns too. I'm all about cheap. Let me see, what's that other gun that I've got? I don't have it anymore. I traded it off. But the thing is, not high standard. I call it the turd gun because it's brown. It's got that brown coating on it. I call it a turd gun. And yeah, I got videos that got over 150,000 hits of me shooting that 45 turd gun. And accurate. They're a little bit more complex than the standard 45, taking them apart and disassembling and cleaning them. It ain't as straightforward as a 45. You can break down a 45 and 1911 and have it all back together and back in your hand and shooting in just no time. But I can't even think of the name of the gun now, and I've shot that thing a million times. I've had several of them, not just that one. I even bought their rifle. They have a semi-automatic rifle that fired 9mm stuff, and I had so much 9mm stuff I needed to burn it up. So my buddy, the airline pilot, came over here, and he brought all of his fancy guns, Kimbers, and all that stuff. He started shooting that gun, that little looked like a tactical assault weapon. He fell in love with that thing. One of the things he liked about it, he was cheap like me. He was a real cheap guy, you know, frugal. And he didn't mind burning up a bunch of 9mm stuff. You get up in these bigger calibers, you know, every time you pull the trigger, you know, a couple of bucks here, a couple of bucks there, you know. And if you like to shoot a lot, man, you can run up a lot of cost and shoot. I'm an active shooter. I mean, I don't just buy these wall queens, you know, safe queens. Everything I got goes out here and it gets fired. And I do have favorite go-to guns that I like to get out and break out. But I ain't been shooting. I ain't been doing that for a while. I'm growing older now. Brown chicken ain't nothing I like better than blowing stuff up. I do. I like blowing stuff up. I blowed up a lot of stuff. You can't imagine. I like to shoot a lot of stuff. One time I had a printer, and the printer I bought it brand new as it was a good name brand, but it failed me one too many times. You know, it would give me a low ink reading or whatever, or something. And after I'd done everything to get it right, I took it out here on the railing, and well, at the time, I'm going to tell you what happened there. I'm a ham radio operator, and I was behind the desk changing out some coax, and I got to reading on the back of that printer that I bought at Best Buy. It said "Made in Ho Chi Minh City." Now, being made in Ho Chi Minh City was a death blow for that printer, because I've got relatives that never made it out of Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon. I got people that came back with parts missing on their bodies, like their legs and their feet and stuff like that. I got friends that suffer right now today, and most of them are dead now. But those that came back with wounds and stuff, they eventually just died off. So I took it out here and put it on the railing, plugged it in, and it was sitting there blinking at me, wanted me to give it some information. I took my camera, set it up on the tripod, and I took my Smith & Wesson 9mm, and I put about 12 or 15 shots in it. I mean, I lit it all up until I hit the transformer inside there, and then it finally blew up. I loved it. I dedicated that to 68,000 American that died in Southeast Asia. And also the millions that came home with wounds and oh yeah, the Ho Chi Minh Trail. We built equipment to deal with the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and my friend, he's deceased now, that flew the C-141s. They delivered these little like palm trees, and they went down in the ground. They spiked in the ground, and there was listening devices so that when there was movement on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, we could come 7 miles high with the B-52s and carpet bomb that whole area and kill everything for 30 miles. Look right there. I got one pair that's noise canceling. And then I got just one pair that's got good insulation. I'll do that. I can't do it today because I don't have any tannerite on me, but I will. I'll get us a couple of maybe 4 or 5 pounds of tannerite. 5 or 6 water jugs. Now I'll put the tannerite in the center of the water jugs, and I'll shoot it, and you'll see what happens to 5 gallons of water immediately. I mean, it's pretty violent. What we did, my wife, when she was alive, she put me colored dyes in the water. She put blue and red, green. So we had all these colors, and when I had my camera sitting there on the ground, it was about a foot off the ground, so when the blast would go over the camera, it wouldn't knock it over. It was a GoPro, and when that thing went off, it was like a Technicolor, like a peacock spreading its wings there. It was colors. I had everything out there. My shooting area was all everything it touched had all these colors on it. I was in living Technicolor. My drone. Let's see. Let the train get in. There we go. My drone. My buddy come over here. The airline pilot, the fighter pilot. Any of you boys got a computer? Look up the look up the look up the Dragonfly. A37 Dragonfly. Look up the A37 Dragonfly. What an awesome see, before there was an A10 Warthog, there was the Dragonfly was ground support, jet powered, get down low to the ground. It could carry its weight in armament. and it could blow shit up. I'm telling you, it was good. Every soldier that I ever knew that was supported by the A-37 Dragonfly, it was a little screaming demon. It had these two little high screaming engines on it, jet engine. I lost my hearing. I'm gonna tell you what happened. They come to me one time and they said, we got to put a throttle indent because engagement in combat, the pilots would do a turn and the G forces would cause the throttle to go up into that. There's an area that they can turn the afterburner on. It's a place you don't want to be when you're in combat. So they wanted us to go in and modify the A-37 Dragonfly and put this throttle indent on. I'm hanging in good, honey. Come over. We got a crowd here, and I want to give you a chance to say hello to the gang. Oh, you got your little puppy dog. Well, hunker down just a little bit. The camera's over here, honey. Right there it is. See, they can see your pretty little eyes when you look at the camera. There's Thomas Bailey. There's Sick. You know all these people.
Yep. Hey, gang.
There's Brown Chicken. You remember I got the placemat over here just dedicated to Brown Chicken. Yeah. And Sick is in here. We have Robin in here.
Hey, someone spelled my name right. Thank you.
Oh, well, look at this. Somebody spelled your name right. She gets called Angie, Angela, Angeracular.
That's you that calls me that.
I call her Angeracular, like Angie the Angelique.
What was it when you called me when I was little? Leaky?
Huh?
You called me Leaky when I was little.
Oh, no.
Angelique.
Yeah, Angelique. Yeah. When she'd cry, I used to say, little Angelique. Angelique. So you can leave now because I'm telling a war story and then it's going to get brutal here in a minute.
All
okay?
All right. I'll take Booger with me.
Thanks.
You need me to heat up the pizza?
Mm-hmm.
You need me to heat that up?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
So they give me my set of instructions. I looked at the schematic, and we got on the blackboard there, on the board there. There is what they call the black and white, and I know where the throttle and motorbomb. I'm sorry, I should have called your name out. I didn't see you right there on the screen, but so I go up in the hole, and so you got a headset on. Both engines are running at full thrust, way up there high, because I've got to set this device so that and when G forces comes on, if you got your hand here on the throttle and you go into a tremendous amount of G force that slams you forward, like when you do a braking maneuver, it can force you into that afterburner mode or whatever, and then you could lose control of it. I'm in the war with YouTube right now. So anyhow, I'm going up in what they call the hellhole. That's between two engines running full spooled up. And when I went up in there, I moved my headphones got knocked back. It blowed my eardrum up immediately. Poof! It just blowed it up, shattered it. And anyhow, I had to go through quite a long time before I recovered from that. But one time we were sitting in there, and I was working on the gimbal. There's a thing called the 8-ball, and one of our jobs was to change out the 8-ball because we had upgraded to a new type, and we was in there changing these over. it was the most latest version of the 8 ball. And so while I was down there working on the 8 ball, you have to get up under the dash. Uh, a guy came up and he spoke kind of softly to me, got my attention, and I looked up at him, and he motioned with his finger for me to come up to him because it's hard to hear in there, a lot of jet engines running. So I went over to where I could hear what he was saying, what he was going to say. He said, "Get down out of the aircraft now." I went, "You don't question it." I crawled out of the aircraft, and I said, "What's the problem?" Then he told me, he said, "Look over into the cockpit. See, the A-37 has a pilot and co-pilot that sit side by side." And he said, "Look down there in where you was working. Look at the ejection handle." I'm looking at it, and I don't see anything. He said, "Do you see the safety pin gone?" I went, "Oh, hell yes." He said, "If your foot had got in that or whatever, and you had activated that, it would have blowed your ass up through the canopy, and it would look bad. It wouldn't be pleasant." So somebody, when they was pre getting the things ready for us to deal with to come in to do the jobs, somebody had went in and just for a mean stunt pulled all the safety pins out, and yeah, yeah, you can die. There's a lot of things that can kill you. Um, Brown Chicken, you asked me what war was I in. I was born in 1940, so I was too young for World War II. I was too young for Korea. My brother went to the Korean War, and it changed his life forever. He also went to the Vietnam War, and he went to several other conflicts that the U.S. involved. He was in the Army for 14 years. So I got involved in the military through the Boeing Company, Boeing Aircraft Company, and I worked in all these military bases, Army and Navy. I've been on aircraft carriers. I've been stationed at Air Force bases, Knob Noster, Whiteman, Maelstrom, all your major bases, Redstone Arsenal. But in 1972, I was 32 years of age. And I got a draft notice in 72. You know, things in Vietnam wasn't going too good. You'd already had the Tet Offensive and things were starting to wind down, but they needed a lot of troops that was going to be leaving the military after that tour of duty was over. And so I got a draft notice. And by that time, I think I had, let me see, in 72, my daughter Cindy had not been born yet. So I had like 5 or 6 kids. And I even though I was 1A, my draft thing was 1A, I was at the age where they gave me a deferment, but kept me at 1A in case the country was attacked. They'd still call you up because you had to keep your reserve forces in hand. So, answer to the question is, I've never been to war. I don't advocate war, and I'm not a hawk. I don't want to attack nobody. I want to have peace. I want to have love, but I also want to think that we are going to help you to survive from the aggressions of others, other countries that maybe want to take us down a notch or two. And I spent many years with the ICBM teams on the Minuteman III. I put in my career, not only did I develop in the in-house development of the Minuteman III portions of it, but I also deployed 1,053 of them. I put them in the ground. I went out on the very beginning on the construction phase, and I ended up on the electrical end at the finish where you sell the missile over to the military. So I didn't go to war, but everybody I knew had been either in war, or my children all went to war. My children went to war for the country. ICBMs, that's right. I did the Minuteman III ICBM, and it's a wonderful device. It sits there and minds its own business. And ever come to a time when we need something, we know it's going to work good. It ain't going to be one of them deals. It ain't going to be one of them deals that you got parts made in China and got parts made in Pakistan and you got parts made from South Africa. No, that's all American made by real Americans for Americans, actually for protection of other people in the world. I'm really proud of the work that we did because I sleep good at night. We've never had to set my dogs loose. Do you remember the guy that blowed himself up over in Las Vegas? In his manifesto, he talked about this would relieve the pain of the killing he had done in his line of service. You don't want to go to bed over at night knowing they turned my dogs loose and 30 million is dead. It's good to know that if we have to turn the dogs loose, it will change whatever country's mind that loosened their weaponry against us, or they will not ever have a mind again because it will be gone. It's an end of the world situation. It ain't a deal like, oh, we'll get over it in a few days. Oh, it'll be a little bit of radiation there, but we're gonna make it all right. I think that probably draws the most attention going to that building. You can see it got a lot of attention. I have no answer for why people do that kind of stuff. What I'm saying is there are consequences to our deeds. A lot of young men had preferred to stay home on the farm, but when the call of duty came, they went and defended our nation. Let me tell you, I had a friend that landed on Iwo Jima, quite a bit older than me. And this other friend and I, we worked together 25 years. He was a major in the Army Air Corps. He flew B-17s, P-47s, a lot of different aircraft. He did his bombing missions, and then he started flying fighter escort. His best buddy was in the Marine Corps, and he went into Iwo Jima, and he went along in the island, and they was talking about atrocities that they regretted being a part of. So my friend conveyed the story about when they was flying B-24 Liberators from Virginia up to Labrador doing submarine search. This was after he came back after the European theater. He had to come back stateside, and then he started flying B-24 Liberators up and down the Atlantic seaboard there. And they got a distress call, and they was flying down really low to the water, 1,200 feet or so. And when they got a distress call, they went up high to see if they could get a fix on the distress call. And they got a bearing, and they flew right direct towards that distress call. And when they got close, they saw it was a German submarine. And the German submarine was sending a distress call. He had broke down or whatever, and so they made a flight over it. And as they flew over it, they opened up with the deck gun, that 80 millimeter deck gun they had on the German submarine. And they killed 4 of the crew in the B-24 Liberator. The bombardier was killed. Four crew members was killed. So they flew on past. The craft was flying good. It still was operational. And the crew asked Major Pettit, my friend, Major Pettit, if they would if they could get turned to make a bombing run on the submarine. And they did. They made a really hard turn, got it turned, got over, and got a. They was diving. The submarine, of course, was, because they knew the bomber was going to come back. And they broke the back of the submarine, and there was bodies all over the place in the water. And then crew said, "Let us make one more pass over the water." And so they made another pass, and then the crews opened up and killed everybody in the water, because the lowlife and mothers had fired under a distress signal that made them terrorists. They was no longer warriors. Now, truly, some of the young men on the gun probably was following the orders of whatever the skipper said. But so that was his regret, that he turned the craft back and let the crew kill everybody in the water, because they lost 4 of their very close friends. So then my friend that went to Iwo Jima, he said, I tell you the part, he said, after we took Suribachi, he said, we started moving out to where they was going to build the airfield, and they was flame throwers and stuff. They went in and got them out of their caves and stuff. And he said they would see Japs crawling, be dragging themselves, and a lot of their flesh would burn off their bodies, and they would take them half tracks and run over them. And they would try to kill as many on the ground as they could. They just squished them with the half tracks. And he said he has spent nights trying to console his thoughts about killing another human being with the machinery. Now, they were at war, and these were combat people, but they was already at the point of skin burned off their bodies from the flamethrowers. And so that was our 2 stories. So people are human beings, soldiers. You see them in the movies. Oh, they can kill 100, 1,000, 10,000, be up to the knees in dead bodies, and they go, yeah, yeah. Well, that's movie shit. Inside a soldier's body is a brain. And after the adrenaline and all that stuff goes away, the scene that goes through their head has to be atrocious of what they've seen. And you're like, oh, yeah, but a real soldier don't show nothing. Well, they didn't show anything there, but I'm talking about after this is all over with, you've come home and you've got a new wife and 2 new babies, and you're now dealing with what happened 6 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago. You can now deal with it. You can literally rationalize what happened 30 years ago as if it was just yesterday. Those are real soldiers. Not TV stars, not the heroes you see on the screen, but real human beings that has emotions. And sad part about it is you lose your best friend in a combat situation. You're horribly wounded and you still have pain and suffering from the wounds from that period of time. 30 years goes by and you see the American businessmen building printers in Ho Chi Minh City. And your friends are not well yet. They're still crippled. So are you. You're injured in your mind. And you've seen an American businessman open up a business and making his printers that normally would be built in New York City, but are now being built in Ho Chi Minh City. And it sticks in the craw of every soldier that lost somebody. Hey, Quick Shoe 6. Hey, good afternoon, Toga. Uh, Toga, my gosh, I'm so happy to see you. Sorry about that. Taking us on a journey there that there's no answer that I can give. Well, there's a good little bunch of people in here, and I really appreciate y'all spending some time with me. Um, I I was asked by Angelique. She said, "Are you going to go live today?" And I said, "I don't know if I'm going to have a signal." So I came home, and my mesh over there's got a green light on it, and it shows right here that I've got Wi-Fi, and the box don't show any error. And so I said, why not? Because I I love every one of you people that come over here to visit and spend some time with me. I talked to a dear friend of mine today. He's a mining engineer that, my God, he's such a good human being. It was so nice making contact. He's 78 years of age. His health ain't good, but he's cheerful. When you talk to him, he ain't never whining. He has a hard time getting around, but he's not ever whining about nothing. He leaves all that whining shit to me. I do all the whining. I whine for him. At Brown Chicken, he is such a dependable guy. I have been to a lot of different pages, and my gosh, I find Brown Chicken. Does any of you folks here have any chickens? I don't have any chickens now. My neighbors have chickens, but if my brother Robert was on here, he could tell you what I'm going to tell you is to be the truth. Oh, damn. I can't believe Brown Chicken don't have 50 subscribers. Uh, Did you know you can hypnotize a chicken? Not brown chicken. I ain't talking about brown chicken. I'm talking about a real chicken. So you say, oh, I don't believe that. Well, here's what you do. If you've got like a 2x4 set up on its edge, and down the middle of that 2x4, draw a straight line, a black straight line. You can use a Sharpie or a pencil or whatever. Just draw a straight line down that board. Pick you up your favorite chicken in the yard. An old hen, an old chicken, that'll be fine. A rooster, a little bit more feisty. You can. I've hypnotized a lot of them. I've had as many as 7 hypnotized at one time. You take that chicken and get him calmed down after you picked him up. Calm him down, and just take his hand and put it on his neck and guide his little beak down to that line. Turn it, because see, they have their eyes, they can see independently. But once you see that he's focused on that line, just move your hand slowly away from him. And he's got his butt up in the air because he's got his head down. And he'll look and his body will sink down till he's like in a squatting position. Now, if he goes too far, he'll fall off, and he breaks concentration from that line, then he'll run off across the yard, you know. But I've had as many as 7 lined up on a board. I learned this when I was young, and my mama said, don't be doing the chickens out of the way. And it works. So it works 100%. It ain't one of them deals. It might work today. It may not work. I mean, if you got banny hens, you know what a banny is, a little wiry, little wild, half wild chicken, they're harder to do because they don't like to be in hell to start with. But an old laying hen, how many times you went up there and moved the hen off the nest so you can get the eggs? Your mama would say, go up there and get the eggs. And the old chicken, she'll cluck at you and make some noise, but, she's just doing her job. But an old laying hen, she will look at that line real quick like, and she won't move until her muscles get so tired that her back legs will drop. She'll go down, and then she'll fall off the line, and then she'll run away. But it takes quite a while before their legs get that tired, but they won't break that concentration. They will watch that line, and they won't move. Look it up on Google. Look it up on, ask Siri, could you hypnotize a chicken by making it look at a line, a drawn line? I can say I hypnotize chickens, and until you do it, you can't say that. When you're in a chicken yard and you look down on the ground, and you see a big old puddle of chicken shit there, and you look down at it and you see there's some white in that chicken shit. You know what that white is in that chicken shit? It's just chicken shit. Toga, have you seen the guy that has a YouTube page dedicated to chickens. I've seen some of my own friends that's over there that check his page out. I wish I could remember Deda or something like that. Deidra. He's in Indonesia, and he has a rice farm, and he has chickens, and he plays the same song when his chickens are laying eggs. They're out there going quack, 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 and they're laying eggs. That most beautiful sound of all. There's no other sound of contentment that can measure up to a chicken when she just laid an egg. The sound of a mama chicken with her little bitties when she's got little baby, they call biddies. When the little biddies are all running around mama's legs, she'd be clucking to them, and she'll keep all her babies all up around her legs, and that's the most contented sound in the world. I know I'm already subscribed to brown chicken. Let me go back up there. Let me see. Let me get it on my phone here. And I know I'm subscribed to. I'm sure I am to brown chicken. Let me. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, baby. All right. I'll try to get some light here. I don't have enough signal. Look at my phone. I don't have enough signal to bring anything up. See a blank page. I just don't have no signal. Look right up there in that corner. Well, I got 3 bars. You can't see it there. Damn, what a pitiful phone. It's camera. You cannot even see. Anyhow, there's nothing there. I got 2 bars. I'm going to find out if let me see. I'll go to my page here. Let me go back over here. Okay. Y'all bear with me. I'm going to make sure I'm subscribed to brown chicken. Excuse me. All right, brown chicken. Where are you at, brown chicken? All right, let me search for brown chicken. Brown chicken. Does he go by anything else other than brown chicken? Yep, I'm subscribed to brown chicken. Okay. I knew I was. I've got, I don't know if you'll be able to see over there, but you see that little white dish there by the TV set? And you see that green light at the bottom? That's the mesh right there. And that distributes the signal throughout the house. And if you look right over here, there is T-Mobile right there. And T-Mobile transmits from there over to the mesh, and T-Mobile internet. Didn't mean to make everybody dizzy spinning the camera around, but if you get a chicken eating dog, once they start eating chickens, it's hard to break them. I had this dog, this big old beautiful lab, and he'd eat all our ducks. He'd keep eating the ducks. So one time, he had the duck in his mouth, and I took the duck away from him, and I tied that duck on to his collar, and he wore that duck around his neck for over a week, and parts was falling off the duck. It was real mellow. Parts was falling off, and he would run around strutting around with that all that juice on his chest from that old mellowed out duck. And so I go over and took my pocket knife and I cut the rope that was securing the duck to his collar. First thing he did, he reached down and grabbed that duck, and in 3 swallows, that duck was gone. He ate the whole damn thing. He loved it. Ain't nothing like some good seasoned duck, man. Hey, Desert Outlaw, I didn't see you when you come in, buddy. I was busy talking, doing my stuff, doing my stick. I run an Ethernet from the router modem. It's Ethernet to the computer. So I'm operating. In fact, I could probably show you that as well. I'll look right down here. Look right there. There's Ethernet. You can see the old Ethernet all up in there. I mean, all up on that Ethernet. Shows you a little plug-in right there. But it's my modem has a port for Ethernet, and it Wi-Fi's over to the mesh. My TV over there is sitting right next to the mesh, and it receives, Angelique is over there on the other side of the house. She's quite a ways away, and she picks up all the signal off the mesh. Oh yeah, I may go off any minute. That's the reason I keep looking over there to see if I still have a signal. I ain't making excuses. If I go off the air, ain't nothing I can do about it. That's the reason I'm sticking with YouTube there. You know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. You ain't out nothing, you know, just whatever happens. You know, you either own or you're not on. But anyhow. Lucy doesn't live far from you. Lucy, Brown Chicken lives close to Lucy. Yeah, I think Lucy's up in Wisconsin, isn't she? This is a Supreme Seeds. Got your peppers. You see some peppers and stuff in there. Now I'm eating an extremely cold pizza right now. It was hot. I believe this is a, I saw it on the box. It's a tombstone. I believe it's a tombstone. I believe that's what we usually eat, tombstone. Supreme. That's what goes on my pizza. Let me show you here. Show you how you do this. How to make it some fine eating right here. And get the lid open here. You just take the seeds and dump them right in here. You see I'm going right. Whoa, look at that. Well, that's some good one right there, buddy. As you can see, right all up in here, there's them crushed red peppers. So let's see how it goes down. Yeah, good. Tell us, Robin, what did we hear when we heard Desert Aloe talking about the jalapenos? I'm still waiting for I'll Make You Uncomfortable, Robin. Come on up front and center and tell us what you meant. What you talking about? What did you say, Willis? I'm not going to quit eating pizza until I blow up. Well, Thomas Bailey, I drank wine out of a cardboard box. 5 liters for $4. Yeah, you can't beat that, man. That's some good cheap wine right there. 5 liters for $4. I got 12 people in here, and 7 people out of the 12 likes me. My odds are coming up. Usually only 1 or 2 likes me out of 20. And now I've got 12 in here and 7 likes me. My odds are just getting better every day. That must be my new 2025 personality. I've changed my whole entire personality. I'm all about love. We used to call Angelique Chardonnay because we used to get them 5-liter cartons of Chardonnay. And then, what's that one I really do like? It's like a melody of flavors. Sangria on crushed ice. Oh, that is so good. You get out by the pool, get you a big tall glass of sangria, and it's just a pleasant experience. That's the way to do it, buddy. Yep, beautiful, really good, sweet. And the thing is, you get your glass of sangria down, and then you eat the orange. It's like having a drink with a cherry in it. You wait to the very last to bust that cherry. See, what was the stuff we were drinking? Sangria. Can't remember the brand of it. It was kind of like a light pink blush. Such a really good flavor. When it's hot, you can down a big old glass of that sangria and all the flavors, and when it's hot like that, watermelon comes to mind, the flavor of watermelon. Any kind of tropical fruit goes really good with heat. Sangria is the perfect drink for a hot afternoon out by the pool or, down by the river picnicking. One time we went to the Dismals. Now, you guys don't even know what the Dismals are, but if you have one of these things that's got the smart thing, you push the button and ask it, ask, and in Phil Campbell, Alabama, asked, Phil Campbell, Alabama asked, what are the Dismals? He'd say, where is Phil Campbell, Alabama? And then ask, what are the Dismals? Well, in the Dismals, there's a little creature that lives in the rocks. And in the evening time, just as the sun goes down, they're called dismal lights. And they light up the whole walls, are so beautiful. And they're sort of shimmering and the light intensity varies. And the dismal lights are so beautiful. They only found in a few places in the world. One is in New Zealand, and the other is up here at Phil Campbell, Alabama. Let me tell you about Phil Campbell, Alabama. Phil Campbell, Phil like Philip, short Phil Campbell. They wanted to do a scene from Jurassic Park, and they chose Phil Campbell, Alabama, because it had the perfect Jurassic appearance. They got trees up there that's got 25, 30-inch leaves on them. Something they had back during the days when the fluoridation of the world, where you had a lot of ferns and different fernas and different broadleaf things, a lot less pine trees, but more broadleaf. And they chose that place to do the scenes from Jurassic Park. All right, so we go up there. We toured the Dismals. We went down, observed the Dismals. We come up in the evening, and now we're having supper up at the park. And so we're down there. My wife breaks out the basket. She had got a new pressure cooker that she cooked Kentucky Fried Chicken recipe with the 7 herbs and spices in that pressure cooker thing, deep fry pressure cooker, whatever thing, a very expensive thing. That meat would just fall off the bone. We were down there sucking the meat off the bones of that chicken that she had fixed for us, and I'm on my third glass of wine, and life is good. And I'm about to I'm thinking I'm pouring my third glass of wine. Went over my right shoulder. I noticed a crowd above us had gathered. And there was just me, my wife, and my cousin sitting at the table enjoying a beautiful supper picnic. And these people are all up there like they wanted to kill somebody. They was ready to commit murder. I went, what is going on? I'm sure it's not offensive to eat chicken amongst these people, or maybe I should offer them some of my chicken. But they were just scouring at me, maybe 30 of them up there above me on a railing, looking down on me and my wife and my cousin. And so one of the ladies come by that had been coming through there, picking up stuff off the tables. And I called her over and I said, what's these people up here? What are they looking at us? I mean, we're not self-conscious about nothing, but they tend to be like in a hostile, they're looking at us in a sort of a hostile way. She said, it's your drink there. I go, what's wrong with my drink? She said, this is a dry county. I go, what? We didn't know. And they was ready to kill me because I was insulting their religion by drinking that god awful wine. And so she said, I would suggest you put it away because they're going to call the police. I go, oh, hell. So we started packing everything up. Ruth did not want to go to penitentiary. She didn't want to go to prison. She was afraid that, some big cell block boss ended up being somebody's bitch before the day was over, and she didn't want to do that. And me, I was afraid of Bubba. I didn't want to go either. I didn't want to have a cellmate named Bubba that had love on his breath. So we packed our stuff up and we headed out before the devil was about to besiege upon us and kill us. The devil, yeah, that's right. Hell, I'm telling you, got to keep in mind that was in Coleman County. No. That's Winston County. It's even more backward than Coleman County is, like a throwback to I don't know, some archaic medieval time. If they could bring back stretching people on the rack, they'd be doing it in Coleman County. They're just not socially friendly people. You will join our church or we'll kill you. I go, whoa, that's pretty threatening. When I moved in here, my neighbor lady, a couple of days after we was here, she come trudging over here to the property, and me and my wife was out there setting some plants out that we'd bought. And so she says to us, her and her husband, she said, "Are y'all church people?" My wife said, "Yes." She said, "What denomination do you go to?" My wife said, "We're Methodist." She looked at her husband and he looked at her, and both of them had a look of disgust. And she looked me right in the eye and she said, "We'll pray for you." I go, "Oh, okay. That's good." You know, they had them prayer chains back in the days. And what they do is they circle you with a prayer chain and then they pull it real tight. And, you know, but anyhow, they let us know that Methodist was not wanted. Well, we ended up going to the Methodist church in Arkadelphia. And up on the hill is the First Baptist Church of Arkadelphia. And the preacher up there, his son is a Methodist preacher down here. So when you went to the Methodist church down here, he was only preaching the leftover sermons his daddy had left over. Oh, it was, man, I go, whoa. It was like kind of like going to a political rally when you went there. It had nothing to do with God or didn't have nothing to do with Jesus, or it was about whatever party you was associated with. They had to weed out the undesirables and bring the Klan in. You know, the Klan will cleanse the county when they begin to get too many outsiders, you know. And yeah, my neighbor across the road, he brought me a paper over here where I could join up with the Klan. Wanted to know if I wanted to, was I a member or would I like to be a member? Oh, hell no. I fought this. I didn't fight. I was in this military that fought back in World War II. Nazis back then. I certainly don't want to be no part of no subversive organization in my own country. But this is my county, and I love it. This is one of the reasons I stay heavily armed. I don't have nothing. I used to have a lot of stuff, but we don't have anything anymore. You can see, like above my head, no more guns. Everything is clean. Like there, as far as you can see, everything all cleaned up. I didn't want the Baptists coming in here and killing us in the night because we didn't adhere to their ways and join the Klan. We're just not them kind of people. I mean, Klan ain't for me, but it might be for you. You might look good in that little uniform and replace that right there with a SWAT sticker. That wouldn't be no problem. That'd be your business. It wouldn't be mine. I wouldn't be getting up in your face about it. Oh, Thomas, let me tell you, uh, our county line over here, where Jefferson County is, it's 10 miles over there. Our county line, everybody in Coleman County, for as long as I can remember, always always came to Wayne's package store at the county line, and they would get two 6-packs, and they would drink one 6-pack on the way back up to Coleman and save the other 6-pack, you know, for later. They'd throw their bottles out all the way up the highway. That's just where it was. Yeah, that's a deal. I told you that's a good thing there. We're not going to get off on that tangent again, but look at there. When I started speaking about the Methodists and the Baptist, people started fleeing like, "Oh hell, he's gone anarchy on us." I got friends that are Baptists. I mean, I was saved in a Baptist church. Uh, People are so tribal about everything, you know. And our Baptist church, when I was a little boy until I was 12 years of age, everybody up on the hill, the Catholic church was on the hill, and all of them was going to die and burn in a lake of fire because ain't no Catholic that ever going to go to heaven. When I was going to church until I was 12 years of age, that's after World War II now, they was no Jew can ever enter the kingdom of heaven because it was the killers of Christ. I went, what? And then when I come back 40 years later, I found out that you had to be a part of the right church. If you was in the wrong church, they could make life hard on you. I'll give you an example. 2011, a tornado blowed everything away. The house across the street, 1/3 of it was blown away. That 17-room house over there, 1/3 of it was gone. My house was all beat up, big holes in the roof, 4-foot diameter. You know, it was a bad scene. It was rough. A lot of people died. There was one of the largest outbreaks of tornadoes ever, April the 27th, 2011. And so I saw a truck come by that had a county tag on it, and he was delivering ice over there. Now, we didn't have no electricity for 28 days. So she said, run over and see if you can get us some ice. FEMA's bringing ice out. But he was took off. So I got in a pickup truck and I ran over there and I run up on him over there across the creek, Sullivan Creek. So I go up to the little guy, and he happened to be the little town constable, you know, one of them little self-appointed law guys that don't have any authority, but believes he's like a god. And I said, is it possible we can get some of the ice? We don't have any ice for our cooler. We got a lot of meat starting to go bad. And he said, where are you from? I said, I'm over here on the county road. I gave him he said, no. I go, he said, this is for a tornado victim. I said, you worked over there at that house and you delivered a truckload of ice over there. I'm across the street. How come I couldn't be in the same tornado zone? And my house is halfway tore up and over 100 trees lost on my property. And I'm not a tornado victim. He said, you heard what I said. I go, oh. So I looked the next day and they had Southern Baptist people over here from the Arkadelphia Baptist Church, and they rebuilt his house over here. They came in, the FEMA people come in, and me and Ruth worked for 4 days here. I had to get up on the roof. I had to go inside the roof, up in the attic. I had to fix all the timber, all the joists that was broken. I had to do all that stuff. And I had to stop it because we're in April is still a lot of rain and stuff. We had to seal it up where the water couldn't get in and ruin everything in the house. And we cut trees, and I used up all the fuel we had and got all the trees cut up. Me and her, I could only drag them down here at the bottom. I didn't have any way to drag them up to the county road. That's 275 feet up there. And when the FEMA truck come out, the rules was if it's on the side of the road, they'd pick it up, and they would not come on your property to pick it up. So they wouldn't pick up none of my stuff. But they went on his property and drove all the way to the backyard and loaded all his stuff out. Because, see, the minister over at the Baptist church over there, they was only serving the people that went to the Baptist church, not all of the people of Arkadelphia. If we was heathens and went to the Methodist church, you got what you deserve, you damn sons of bitch. You got to burn in hell, you bastard. That's life here in my county. Ain't nothing going to change there. Hey, Naime, how you doing? I was a volunteer for the Red Cross for many, many years. Thomas Bailey, I don't think the name brand of the church that you've chosen is going to get you to heaven. You're going to take you to heaven. Your actions, your deeds, your church only gives you guidelines. But where I draw the line is when you go to the church and listen to the word of the Lord, and when they talked about the biblical passages and stuff, that's like church to me. But when you go up there and they spend the first 3 hours in a political rally telling you who to vote for, or else we have ways of dealing with people that don't listen to us. And using the church, you remember, we spoke about this before. You remember the time when Jesus got mad and he went into the temple and he kicked the money changers' tables over? He was madder than hell, man. He was like, get that shit out of here. He was kicking tables, and I got him in some trouble. But see, people thought it was okay to take the coins that had the picture of Caesar up in there, exchanging monies for the other currencies or whatever, doing it inside the temple. I went to the Baptist church in Gardendale, Alabama. I had to go over and pick up, I was a truck driver, and I was there to pick up, they was going to load stuff for the take down to Miami, Florida, to send to the Haitian people. And while I was in there, I saw 4 huge corporation leaders talking a financial deal that was covering trucking, and they was working out how much money each of them could receive by, they was working out a money deal inside the church. And I thought to myself, that was very much like what Jesus was talking about. And they'll tell you right off the bat, oh, they're all going to go to heaven. They know for a fact. Yeah, weddings and funerals. Only your soul is going to take you to heaven sick, and you know that, and I know that. And here's the deal. You can lie and pretend that you're just as holy as can be. In fact, you can convince your friends and neighbors you're about the most holiest person they've ever known in their life. But if they ever read through the Bible and they read about lust and stuff like that, and the kind of lust a person can hold in their heart, it's not open for the face. People can't see inside that heart. And when you plan and deceive, you got a car, the brakes are really bad on it, but if you do the right adjustment, they'll be good for a few days. And the motor's got a little tick, but if you put that motor honey in there, and also going from third to fourth gear in your automatic, there's just a little bit of lag in there because the old torque converter is going bad. But you can put that transmission fluid in there and you get everything just perfect. And you take it up there and you trade that car in with good faith. That guy said, man, that seemed like a good running car right there. I'm going to give you this amount of money because the car is so good. But you know what, in your heart, you jerry rig that thing up. And you can be the smilingest, nicest, happiest. You can be all that. It's the soul that's going to take you to heaven. And you can have all the mega church people with the diamonds and the silk and the big Rolls Royce and also the jet planes parked out there on the tarmac. And you can have all that, but it ain't going to get you to heaven. Your soul's going to get you to heaven. Wedding and a funeral. Oh man, yeah, they can be the same. Just stay right with your God, whoever the God may be, and just remember some of the passages and things you read, and any of no matter what religion, it's based in being good to other human beings. Nowhere, there's not a Bible I know of where it talks about taking advantage of your fellow man. How to take advantage of the downtrodden. There's none of them. There's none of them where they talk about take all and give it to the wealthy. Take everything and give it to the wealthy. No, most all of them still has that same theme as let's try to help one another out. Let's remind one another about the perils of our deeds, and but just be careful, don't cross that line of judgment because that ain't your job to do. Believe me, there's a boss. He put you in this world and he can take you out. Old Mac ain't gonna be saying nothing that I think at any moment lightning might strike me. I don't want to go out that way. In fact, here lately I've been thinking a lot about not even going out at all. Just stick around. No, honest to God, I would not want to live for a long time because everybody you've ever loved would be gone. Your wives, your children, your family, your friends. No, it's a good thing the way it's working out. You know, you live, do the best you can to get through life, and then you go away. I have no answers for anything. These are only my thoughts. I'm only speaking of me and my thoughts. Uh, Possibly would not be suitable because some people have to have regimented set of driven instructions, and they have to have the consequences repeated to them over and over if you stray. And I always had that belief that just do the best you can. I know people say, yeah, I know people that was good all their life and they still went to hell. How in the hell do you know they went to hell? You wish they went to hell. That's the sad part about it. You can call yourself a Christian. They go, I don't give a damn. I'd like to see him burn in hell. Hey, amen to that. Well, what human being would ever want to see another human being burned in hell. That's a lot of anger you be carrying there. You know, have that kind of anger that you wish to see another human being burned forever in hell. It ain't for you to judge. Thank goodness. Now, there's probably been a lot of people sent to hell with a bullet to their head, you know, bad hombres that did things and they got tracked down and they got killed, you know, and their pursuit of happiness, they violated a lot of the rules and regulations and laws, and they had to pay the price for it. That's man's justice. That's man's judgment. That ain't the one you got to worry about. Because, see, if they kill you, they snap your neck by hanging you, that's over with in a few minutes. Or put a bullet in your brain or shoot you in the heart, that's still over really quick. But when your Creator judges you, the outcome may be a little bit different. So back again to the weather. Next week, bad weather, 14 degrees is going to be a low here. I know Motorbomb up there in Virginia, they're going to have some cold weather. And look at 2-4 up there. It can turn bad in a moment's notice. Robin, he could be up to his elbows in snow. But I don't want to be 6 inches deep. Desert Outlaw, I do too. You said you know some people, some holy people with real demons. But see, you don't have to worry about judging them. That'll all work out. You can fool some of the people some of the time, and you can fool some of the people all the time. I know that ain't the way the saying goes, but some people are just easy to fool. And there's experts on knowing how to fool somebody to give a perceived notion about righteousness and goodness and everything and not even have an understanding about it. Yeah, we only have, what is written about the judgment and the hereafter, and there's not in my lifetime, of all the hundreds of people I have seen put away, either be cremated or being buried, and my mother never saw any, and my daddy never saw any, and my grandmother never saw any. None of them come back and like, oh brother, oh, you don't want to, woo, you want to avoid this right here. I don't tell you, that's bad. I tell you, and none of them ever come back and said, oh, come on, man, continue living your good life, because what you've got going on when you get here, it is unbelievable. Man, some of the biggest, gnarliest waves, and you can surf all day long, and there's no sharks in the water, so you don't have to worry about getting your feet bit off. And snow, that's nothing but powder, man. You can go up there and shoot with the best of them. and your motorcycle never breaks down, and it gets a 300 mile to the gallon, and it's the most powerful, strongest motorcycle in the world. When you get to your Judgment Day, um, everything, your clothes are going to be woven with the finest of threads. It's this is going to be it's paradise, and like the streets are lined with gold and silver, and no more cooking food. I mean, you just when you feel like you're hungry, you just say, "I ain't hungry anymore," and that all goes away. Oh my goodness, you ain't gonna believe. Oh no, this is so great. No, so far there's been no reports that has came back. I think it's designed that way. But let's think about this weekend. We're going to have some rain tonight, possibly rain tomorrow. I think it's going to start in raining around 7 or 8 o'clock here tonight. It's already starting to pucker up out there. I see the birds been feeding out there on the back rail. We feed a lot of cardinals here, and I can see them out the window. My cable that comes in from the antenna for the Wi-Fi antennas over there, they come in over here, and the birds are coming and sit on that wire, and they'll walk their little feet all the way up to the window, and they look in the window. They let me know that they need food out there. Them things are smart. Them little creatures are. Sick, I watched you when you went to the doctor. Might have been a couple of days ago. Yeah, a couple of days ago. When you went to the doctor and you had your camera down there, and it was so funny. It was just fun to listen to. Thank God we didn't have to look at your foot. That was scary enough when you showed it the other day. I went, oh Lord, that'd make you can almost feel the pain. Now, I spoke to my sister a while ago. Sick. Her daughter has already had surgery on her foot. Had to remove a toe. She's got another one on the way out, and her diabetes has really been hard on her. Um, every time I get I think let me tell you two little stories real fast. I had a red place on my left foot over here, and it was so red and callous looking, and it was, so I kept putting lotion and more, and I kept rubbing lotion on it there. In fact, I got this stuff right here. You can't even hardly see it. Oh, that light up there is so bright. Diabetic dry skin relief. That is the stuff I use. All right, so I have this red place on my left foot, right at the arch of my big toe. And hey, Jim Reynolds. So I kept thinking, oh hell, that thing is staying red for such a long time. A callous looking place. And so I had my sandals on, and I took a ride, and I got the feeling when I was shifting, that's exactly where my toe hits the shifter. And when I'm shifting up, it's got a round roller like thing on it. It was rolling back and forth there when so, oh my God, I have shifter toe. Hey, Frog, thank you very much for coming and joining us today. And I'm sorry we got off on a tangent. Ain't nothing going to take you to your paradise except you. And there ain't a man, the guy that could save you is already come and gone. And if he done his job, you don't have nothing to worry about it. You don't have nothing to worry about. Please come back and see us. So I have shifter toe, and I was a little bit concerned about that shifter toe. And I don't have to worry about it now. And this, when the rides are, no, I've had both of my feet operated on so far, but the one that I've got the broken leg where the both bones are broken, I got pins and bolts and stuff in there. That's my right leg. Now, story number 2 about my foot. So we pulled in yesterday onto my parking pad. I have a concrete parking pad under my carport because if I want to jack my machine up, I can jack it up and do whatever I need to do on that parking pad. And you're not trying to jack up in gravel, and I can get down and lay on that parking pad as well. Concrete. I can actually put my little roller and get on it and roll around on the concrete pad. That's the reason I put a parking pad out there under the carport. So I pull up all the time the exact same way. And when I shut it off, there's a little bit of a lip at the end of the parking pad where the soil goes up. And I park right there. So now I have to put the cat's bed back in place. So I'm placing the cat's bed back there and putting the cover over. And while I was there, Angelique was on the other side. The bike rolled forward and ran over my left foot, and it ran right over my toes, my left foot there. Now it's on my foot. So I said to Angelique, you got to get the motorcycle off me. She said, what? And she'd come right around there, and it was sitting right on. I wish I'd took a picture. It would have been the most beautiful short you ever seen. I'm sitting there with that. I don't know how much one wheel weighs on a trike, but the trike weighs 1,200 pounds, 1,186 pounds by itself. That was sitting on my foot because I couldn't, from where I was at, I didn't have no advantage place to push to. I wanted it rolled backwards. I didn't want it to go forward. And so Angelique got a hold of the bumper back there, and she rolled it off my foot. that old foot was mashed down there. I got leather shoes on, but it squeezed that leather down on my foot there. So I got run over by a Harley yesterday, my own Harley. That would make the funniest short. An old dude getting run over by his own Harley. It don't happen often. I got two titanium plates, and I got up through the bottom of the heel. Mine broke off just above the ankle. Both bones broke. And so they drove these big screws up through that big bone in the bottom of my heel, went up in there, up into the bones, and then did that on both. And then they put them plates on it, and they run bolts through the plates. My problem being is, when I came home from the hospital 1 week after having surgery of having my foot repaired, my leg, my wife was running 104-degree fever. So I brought my Mustang around here and as close as I could get to the house, and I lowered the front seat way down, and I opened the door wide, and I got her out there. And I picked her up. She was in a wheelchair, and I picked her up in the wheelchair and set her in the car. I had to lean her backwards to get her to go in there where I could lay her in there on the front seat. When I was standing there, I have a boot on my leg, but my foot shifted in the boot, in which I didn't see and I couldn't tell, but I could feel the pain. So we went to the hospital and took her to the hospital, and then I had to load her up again, put her back in the car because the orderly that brought her out could not lift her. So I lifted her up and put her in the car, and it bent my plate over a little bit on the other one over, it curved it around the bone, but this one, it kinked into the bone. And so when I got home, I had blood in my sock and stuff. So I had to go up there. It just set me back a little bit. It didn't re-break it. It hadn't healed up yet, and not enough of calcium, but it just messed her little. Mechanics hate to be messed around with when you mess up a good job that they did. I left my edibles in Washington when I came home in December. I have to go through two or three different um, state inspection places because of the illegal aliens. I had to do it in California twice, and I had to do it in Arizona, where they what they call port of entry. And if they bring the dogs around and you got drugs, even though you legally bought them in that state, you still go to penitentiary. They'll haul your ass off in a heartbeat. And since I knew I had to come the southern route, there would be no chance of trying to sneak something across all the way from Washington all the way back to Alabama. Don't you know, since I've been back, many a time I thought about, oh man, if I just had me a gummy. No, I do this kind of stuff every couple of years. I did that last year. We went up there in June of 2023, and then we went back in November of 2024. But in 2023, I had the option of coming back a safe way, and I did bring me some gummies back. But 2024, I didn't get to bring anything back. None of the sweet kush or none of the wonderful things that you can buy there. Hey, Remoto Life. I was busy in one of my tirades about something. I was probably venting about the our churches here in my area. uh, Stuff would grow really good here in Alabama too. I've been to people that cultivated their own, and they did. They did grow some good stuff. I had a root canal done, Ray, last summer. Yeah, sometime in maybe fall. I had a root canal done, and that root canal has caused me a little issue. I feel there's some pain up in there, but it's not getting any worse. I don't feel pain. I just feel discomfort. If I push on the tooth, I can tell that they didn't get something exactly right, but there's no knots on my gum or nothing like that. I was going to ask him when I go back over. I got to make an appointment for this month and go over and get my new year started. And I'll probably start off with a good teeth cleaning thing, but I'm going to ask him about that root canal they done. It's an eye tooth, and and it wouldn't cause me a problem, but they spotted it in X-ray and he showed me it had to be done, so I just took their word for it. You know, have you ever heard of the term oil of clove? Um, Raymoto, you can get them at the drugstore. Comes in a little bottle. It's got a little thing that you can rub that oil of clove in that abscess or in the area where the abscess. You can might look it up on your phone, and you may know very well what it is already. But that was a thing that you when you had a tooth that hurt, oil of clove. It ain't a pleasant tasting stuff. Yeah, abscess won't. Abscess can be dangerous. And listen, this is sad. This doesn't have anything to do with Ray Moto life. I had a friend. He was 26 years of age. He had an abscess right down here, and it was caused him a lot of pain. Everybody said, just go. He didn't like needles stuck in his mouth and all that stuff. You know, the typical fear you can have about that stuff that goes on in your mouth. But they convinced him he ought to go to the dentist and have him to check it out. He goes and he don't come back, and so everybody was asking about him. We haven't seen him lately. They said, "Oh, he's on medical leave." So I thought, "Oh, the last time I talked to him, he had an abscessed tooth." So um, I just sort of dismissed it. I'm thinking with medical leave, he may have had to have some complex surgery done, to repair the gum tissue or whatever. So, whatever. And then he comes back to work and he's really frail looking. And I worked my way over to see him. He didn't work for me and he wasn't in my department, but I serviced the area that he worked in. So when I got over to his area, hello, Andy, GSA tractor. When I got over in his area, I approached him and I go, well, did you have some something complicated about uh, your tooth problem you was having, your abscess? He said, they found out that I had cancer and they went in and they had to do, I had a whole bunch of things they had to do, and it got down into his jawbone. And so anyhow, he they had to do radiation treatments and all this kind of stuff. And he had a little pack on his back, a little pouch that had some tubes come around his neck. It went in the side of his neck there. And I asked him what that was. He said, that's like chemotherapy, chemo. I said, oh. And he really tried to stay brave, but he only lasted a few weeks. It metastasized and went into his spine and then up into his brain, and it was all over with. So an abscess, don't ever take it lightly. It could be a life and death situation. Just get an expert's opinion on what to do about it. And I'm not telling you something you don't already know. I ain't trying to be telling you nothing. I know how dangerous it can be. Then I told you guys a long time, well, maybe not Ray, but some of the fellows a long time ago, about a young man just got his first baby. Him and his wife got married. Everybody in our crew was, oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, he want to heed your warning from a dentist with your heart condition. Uh, this young fellow, they were celebrating their first baby being born, and his bottom of his chin, he was all swollen up down here, and and a long time ago, before they started putting iodine in salt, having a goiter was quite prevalent, common, mostly in women for sure, would have goiters. And he looked like he had a goiter or the mumps or something. His throat was kind of swollen up here, you know. And what they found when they was doing some work on the bottom of his bottom teeth, that he had cancer in his jawbone right here, in his jawbone. And now he was a guy that liked the little pinch between his cheek and gum. He liked the skull bandit sticking in there, you know, and a young guy. And he went pretty fast too. Being young and tough does not protect you. You can be just a tough, big, hardcore muscle guy, but the cancer is a great equalizer. That's a sad equalizer. GSA, Andy, we're going to have here at my area. I live here in North Alabama. We're going to be 14 and lower, 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, the little pouches, you know, they always talked about a little pinch between your cheek and your gum. Skull Bandit. One of the greatest NASCAR drivers was Harry Gant, and Harry Gant was he was sponsored by Skull. He drove the Buick, the Skull Bandit, the Buick in NASCAR. And I saw something that's really sad this morning. Mike Wallace, you don't even have to like the guy. Mike Wallace has been involved, him and his brother have been involved, the Wallace brothers, not Waltrip, but Wallace, in NASCAR racing forever, all their life. Well, he's in his 60s. And he got a sponsor, and he got all qualification, he got everything done. Yeah, number 33, Skull Bandit, that was him. Okay, so 36 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to be really cold by midweek. So he got everything approved, and last Friday, a week ago today, he done his physical, passed all that, and it was sponsored by a company. They have Mustangs. It's kind of a good sponsor. They just notified him yesterday that not only was he not going to be running in the Daytona 500, but he has been removed from all Daytona events. That's truck driving and the Infinity race. He cannot participate in any NASCAR event. And no reason. They did not come back and say, well, you've said some things or you did some things. Now, these are people who are just dedicated to NASCAR. Their families have always been dedicated to NASCAR. But the consensus was, because of his 63 years of age, I believe he's in his 60s, that he would be a liability to NASCAR if he went out there and wrecked and killed 2 or 3 of the young drivers or some of the superstars. They just did not want to take a chance on him. And he's a great, I'm going on 85, and I just drove to Washington State and back at my age. and I know I could drive a NASCAR. I mean, I won't win. I don't have the ability to be that, but I could drive. I have stamina. I can keep it off the wall. And I mean, I don't even have any NASCAR experience, but I've been to a lot of NASCAR racing. But for them to say that he didn't qualify and yet he's healthy and he had a good car and he had already qualified, he had already had a position in Daytona. What happened is some of the good old boys wanted, some of the big car builders out of out of Charlotte wanted to bring one of their new upstarts. And the only way you could bring the new upstart is you got to drop the old fart to get the new upstarts in. And since they are the money and the clout at NASCAR, they just simply said, sure, we'll do that. We'll just drop Mike Wallace. And so officially he's out now. He didn't do anything. He had, they did not write him a letter saying, well, no, he's just been a NASCAR member. He's always had his NASCAR license. He did everything that's required to bring his license up to date, do all the stuff. He's got great sponsorship. Now the people that has the Mustang car, that has the big sponsor on this Mustang car, is going to have to, before the Daytona race, get a whole new team together and get in there. But see, that's what happens when you got clout. Oh, thank goodness, I'm looking up there. I've got 10 people in the room and I got 10 likes. That's a record. I've never had 10 before on any one time. I must be doing something right. No, this is a independent team. No, this is not Hendrick. It's guys like Hendricks probably that was when it's called up NASCAR and said, no, I got to try out this new kid. We're going to bring him in. His daddy owns the sporting company, and he's a big contributor. Hey, we got to get this kid up on the camera. He's beautiful. He's got perfect teeth. He's got one of them smiles that will sell products. He'll make NASCAR beautiful. All you got to do is get rid of that piece of shit, Mike Wallace, and dump him like a chump. And let's bring this pretty boy in here, because you got to have pretty people up in there to sell the product. Now, Hendrick's all Chevrolet. You remember he owns the largest Chevrolet dealership, Hendrick. Oh, I'm not saying they don't have money in Toyota as well. Hey, Andy, come back and join us anytime, buddy. We'll try to get on to a subject that even you will like. Whatever your favorite subject is, we're going to find out, and we'll give it a good go. Yeah, NASCAR. See, I was on the Michael Waltrip team. What happened is a company that I was associated with sold Michael Waltrip a water jet cutting piece of equipment that had to have our team to come in and set it up and give the guys the training session on how to run the water jet. And so I used to go to all the events, and he was my sponsor. I could go in, we could park infield, we could go into the garage. We had a partnership with Michael Waltrip, the number 55, the Napa car. In fact, we went to the Napa when the Napa motorcycle was made by OCC Chopper. The old man himself, he came down there to Cornelius, North Carolina. Is it North Carolina? Heavy drink. Hell. All right, guys. My thing is that I'm going off the air. Yeah, I got a red blinking light. Sorry, guys. I got to shut her down. God bless you. Oh, now people starting to fade away. You're going away real fast. So, love each and every one of you. Take care. I want to see you next time I get a chance. And like Toka said, peace out, brother.